Hello, I'm John Conlin, and I have a challenge for you. In around 7 minutes, I will change the way you think about almost everything. I call it the Conlin Challenge, and I'll take on all comers. And once you complete the challenge, you will have no choice but to be for limited small government and individual freedom. Liberals beware. Once you go down this road, there is no going back. But first, a couple of rules to assist our discussion. I'm presenting an entirely new paradigm which touches on almost every aspect of life. One cannot examine a new way of thinking by retaining the old way. For just these few moments, you must truly start with a blank slate, simply following where the facts seem to lead, not caring one way or the other. If you catch yourself caring about what an answer may or may not be, or fighting for this or that belief, then you haven't lived up to your end of the bargain. If we start with a blank slate, then we won't care one way or the other. It is simply a search for the truth. If the scale of evidence tilts in one direction or the other, we follow the evidence. A second rule is one I've learned from decades of building and reorganizing business entities. Once the blank slate, I don't care perspective is set, we move forward by starting at the beginning and building from there, but only by agreement. New things aren't built or improved by focusing on where we disagree, but solely by building on what we together agree upon. Far too much of our present political and social discourse focus on disagreements rather than agreement. With those two rules, let's start the Conlin Challenge. Once you truly accept the fact that we evolved on this planet, and please, this says nothing about God. I have a separate video on this channel which addresses this and definitively proves the existence of God. Big talk, eh? Then continue the challenge. But once you accept the fact of evolution, and there's probably never been a more proven theory in the history of humans, you have no choice but to be for limited small government and individual freedom. So, do you accept the fact of evolution? If no, then what is your alternative theory on how we got here? Remember, we were talking about facts and reason. Just saying no, sir, is not an acceptable answer. Either present a fact-based alternative or you must accept the facts in front of you. Once you accept this fact, let's call it the prime fact. All others rapidly fall into place. So why does the reality of life evolution force one to accept small, limited government and individual freedom? Primarily the realities of swarm intelligence and the laws of statistics. We can consider these foundational facts. They too, like the prime fact, are absolute. Much like gravity, they are everywhere, impact everything, and cannot be discarded on anyone's whim. Swarm intelligence has driven human achievement since long before we were human. It is the collective behavior of decentralized, self-organized systems. Most of the time people think of swarm intelligence when referring to hives of bees, schools of fish, or herds of animals, but human schools have existed since we have. In fact, all of humanity, across all time, could and should be considered a school. If you really think about the fundamentals of how a swarm operates, how it magnifies the group's intelligence, you will find almost all of human existence has operated under the laws of the swarm. A key ingredient in swarm intelligence is that no one is in charge. There is no management at all, just countless interactions between individual members with each following simple rules of thumb, each acting on local information. No member sees the big picture. No member tells any other what to do. No fearless leader is required or desired. In fact, if a boss were to attempt to take charge of this process, the entire system would cease to function to the detriment of all members. These types of systems are self-organizing. Life itself is self-organizing. Top-down hierarchical systems are the antithesis of this foundational fact, and they exist nowhere in the natural world. The beauty of swarm intelligence and self-organizing system is that even for complex systems like human life and survival, behavior may be coordinated by relatively simple interactions. And here's the key. In a self-organizing system, there literally is no cause and effect. It just is. That might be tough to wrap your mind around, but that's the way it is. Which leads to the second foundational fact, good old statistics. To emphasize the power of statistics, think of a trivia contest where a single player takes on a team of 10, and that all players are correct about 50% of the time. The team will win 99.9% of the time. Take that to a team of 50, and the team will win 99.999% of the time. In effect, the team will never lose. Thus, it is a scientific fact. The many will always outperform the few. The nonprofit corporations we call government violate both foundational facts. Those things that make for smart group behavior, like decentralized control, response to local feedback, and simple rules of thumb, are the exact opposite of what governmental organizations attempt to do. Self-organizing systems are an incredible strategy to deal with complexity. Government is not. Worse yet, top-down command and control systems will sooner or later create catastrophic failures. Not so with self-organizing systems. Swarm intelligence has the effect of being a tremendous intelligence multiplier. Top-down command and control systems have just the opposite effect. These things are not true because anyone desires it. They are true because they are provable scientific facts. Combine the scientific facts of swarm intelligence and statistics with easily observed real-world results, and the conclusion is clear. Small, limited government and individual freedom is the only viable long-term design for human societies. And even when it is collectively determined government action is required, its action should be shaped and directed by the foundational facts. Government will provide far superior results if they throw away their top-down we-know-best designs and build their programs around the realities of swarm intelligence and statistics. So you believe in science, eh? So do I, and the science is clear. Large governmental organizations are a provable threat to us all. This isn't based on political philosophy or some ethereal idea. It is based on hard science. If we hope to be a long-lived species, we must pull back from the brink and once again allow self-organizing systems to do their magic. The science is clear. So do I have any challenges to any of this? Step to the plate and let's hear your fact-based argument. I don't give a damn about your opinion. If not, then let's get rid of our childish ways of thinking, accept this as the fact it is. The ideas of socialism and large government are foolish thoughts from the distant past. Let's put them in the grave where they belong before they put us there instead.